Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. So as you guys can see up on the screen, these are the final 2021 LEC summer regular season standings. And what I wanted to talk most specifically about in this video today is Excel here at finishing in at the end with the 8 seed, 7 seed, whatever, with tiebreakers. They're down to 8th and missing out on the playoffs. I believe they missed out on the playoffs for now their 6th straight split. I believe they are the only team in the LEC to have not made the playoffs yet since franchising started. That might not be 100% accurate, but I'm pretty sure that's what the stat is. I'm pretty sure every other team has made the playoffs at least once, and Excel has not, and they did not again. Now, thinking back to the offseason, this little mini offseason between spring and summer, one of the most controversial moves was Excel moving on from Jekyllad and bringing in DuCk to the mid lane. And, you know, I'm sure they expected that to be a short-term upgrade. They expected things to look better. I'm sure they expected their team to do better. And that's what I wanted to talk about in this video today. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this. I would appreciate it so much. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content, and consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/IamGerm, if you want to go that extra mile, help and support me, my content, and my channel. With that being said, here we go. So the tweet that really made me want to make this video, and really this is just a whole DuCk rant, an Excel rant, just a rant on League of Legends in general, because we're seeing some similar stuff over in North America as well. Again, I know I talked about CLG pretty recently, and I think what CLG has going on right now is a very similar situation to what Excel has going on right now. Now, Excel is in a much better position. Obviously, they are an overall better team than CLG, but it's still some of the same issues, and they're in a much better position, but it kind of comes from the same place. So the tweet that made me a little bit frustrated, a little bit angry, was this coming from DuCk, where he said, "Many regrets from this split. I would like to thank Excel for believing in me and not letting social media control them." And this is absolutely hilarious. I replied to this and I was like, LOL, this dude is so salty. It's not good for him, and it really is not. I think it's a terrible attitude. I think it is a terrible mindset. He actually tweeted, I don't remember where I saw this. I don't remember if it was in an interview or a tweet or, I don't remember where it came from, but I know he for sure said something earlier in the year. Like, he started doing pretty good. Excel was winning some games, and he had said something like, yeah, you know, I guess I'm so, you know, I guess I'm not a washed up mid laner, or I guess, you know, I deserve to be in the LEC, or something along those lines. So it's not like this is the first time he has said something like this about social media being the reason that he doesn't get more opportunities in the LEC, or social media trying to keep him out of the LEC or whatever, or you know, everyone hating on him, but he's still so good. And to me, that is such a bad mindset, because one, you know, you had a decent split, and DuCk is a solid player. I've never said DuCk is bad, and I'm not going to say DuCk is bad. I'm not going to say he played bad, but the problem is DuCk is not great, and sometimes he is even not good. And Excel is a team who just finished under 500. 4 games under 500. They went 7-11. Now, lucky for them, the playoff cutoff was 8-10 this year. I think most years it is 9-9. So they actually, you know, almost squeaked into the playoffs. So it looks a little better than it was, but they went 7-11. They finished 4 games under 500 in the LEC. They were the 3rd worst team in the LEC. So much of this is not good. They are not a good team right now. Even if they would have snuck in to the playoffs at the 6th seed, the gap between 6th and 5th this year is so crazy. The 3 games between Vitality and Fnatic, and I don't think anyone would be picking Vitality over Fnatic in a series at this point. That who cares? Even if they would have snuck into the 6th seed, that would not be an accomplishment. They would sneak in, they would get blown up in a best of 5, and then they would be knocked out. That's not really an accomplishment. I don't think it's anything that should really be celebrated too much, or that anyone should care about. So DuCk is talking about this stuff like, yeah, thanks for believing in me, which is cool. Yes, thank you for believing in him, thank you for giving an opportunity or whatever, but not letting social media control them. It's not like social media just hates DuCk or just thinks DuCk sucks for no reason. He has not had the best results recently. He keeps getting opportunities. When this guy has been a professional player for, what, 8 years at this point, he has had some high highs. He has had some good moments, but again, he is not a mid laner at this point in his career who's probably going to take you to an LEC title. He is not a mid laner at this point in his career that is probably even going to take you to Worlds. So, if you are a team aiming to go to Worlds, aiming to go to win titles, you know, compete at Worlds, compete at MSI, whatever, why would you want a mid laner who at this point is not good enough to probably get you those places, and also is not really developing anywhere to get you those places. Because I see so many people, in these replies like, Beast, easily good enough to be in the LEC, you worked hard, people believed in you. Somebody else was like, you definitely deserve a spot in the LEC. And yes, is he probably a top 10 mid laner in Europe right now? Sure, but being top 10 does not mean you deserve a spot in the LEC. There should be like 5 or 6, the top 5 or 6 I think should really, really be cemented. And then some amount of players need to be young, up-and-coming people who have a very, very high skill ceiling. They're not to it yet, but they're going to be in a split or 2 or 3 or 4. And yes, that's what Excel had a little bit with YeAr last year. And yes, YeAr was not great for Excel last year. DuCk came in and was better in the summer split than YeAr was in the spring split. But that does not mean Excel made a good decision, because yes, DuCk was a short-term upgrade, but they still went 7-11. They still did not make the playoffs. And YeAr had only 1 split in the LEC. We've seen some people, it takes them 2, 3, 4 splits before they start to unlock their full potential, before they start to really become the players that they are hyped up to be, and to start living up to their potential. And now they are not developing talent in the mid lane at all. They have a guy who, his skill, like what you're getting with DuCk right now, is probably going to be between the 5th and 8th best mid laner in the LEC pretty much every split at this point. I would really be surprised if we saw DuCk come out and be like the 3rd best mid laner, the 2nd best mid laner in the LEC. I really don't think that's going to happen at this point in his career, especially playing on these bottom tier teams. Now, he is a very good veteran. He has a ton of experience and everything. He is really, really good for some of these young players like Marcoon to be playing around, I'm sure, and that is awesome. But again, if Excel wants to be good for the future, and like they saw Marcoon and Advian come in and turn the team around and make them be very, very good. And yes, DuCk did help, and he was a big part of being able to do what Excel did this year. But again, if you are going to be a struggling team, if you are going to be the 3rd worst team in the LEC, I think you need to be building more for the future. That doesn't mean you need an absolute rookie, but that means you probably don't need a guy who has been in the LEC for 8 years and is past his best days, and his skill ceiling I don't really think is that high at this point. So to me, it was just really, really funny that earlier in the split, DuCk was talking some trash, and then things don't really work out, and now he's still kind of throwing that shade at social media, throwing people, the social media analysts, the social media mob that wants me out of the LEC, blah, 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 when he just gets opportunities time and time again. He keeps finding his way back to the LEC, and it's really weird, and it's strange. And yes, I don't want him to lose his job. I don't wish anything bad upon him or whatever, but I don't really think he should be an LEC mid laner at this point. He's solid, he's decent, but if you are Excel, you need to be building for the future. You need to be investing in how are we going to make worlds in the next year or two? How are we going to win an LEC title in the next year or two? Not how are we going to try to get the number 6 seed in the summer split and then lose in the first round of the playoffs. And that is what Excel tried to do this season. And that is so, so strange to me. That is terrible management. That is terrible planning. And yeah, I hate to see front offices make such short-term decisions like that. And to me, it is hilarious that it still didn't work out, that they went for such a short-sighted move and it didn't work out. And now what do? Now do you start building for the future? You could have been developing someone for an extra split. It just makes it a whole mess. I thought this was a really, really weird comment from DuCk. I still hate the move from Excel of bringing him in. And, I think a lot of people were right. Like he's saying, the social media that he's talking about, I think they were right. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below. What do you guys think? Do you guys think DuCk should be in the LEC? Would you want him as your mid laner on your team? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. That was something else that was funny to me. This is the year of the DuCk. Like, year of the DuCk gets you a 7-11 record and an 8 seed in LEC. Congrats, buddy. Yeah, you showed social media. Hilarious. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/IamGerm. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.